I know you're out there. I know that you're afraid. You're afraid of us. You're afraid of change. I don't know the future. I didn't come here to tell you how this is going to end. I came here to tell you how it's going to begin. I'm going to hang up this phone, and then I'm going to show these people what you don't want them to see. A world without rules and controls, without borders or boundaries. A world where anything is possible. Where we go from there is a choice I leave to you.
The KrisAnne Hall Show.
Any varmint that crosses that lady's path has met its match. Come on!
Rise and shine, liberty-loving patriots. Welcome to the KrisAnne Hall Show. KrisAnne Hall here, KrisAnnehall.com. Liberty over security, principle over party, truth over your favorite personality. And man, aren't the personalities at war? Oh my goodness. The reality show of Fox News has actually spread a real fun little cat fight across the boundaries of personalities lately. I am amused. I am thoroughly amused at watching the cats fight each other over the scraps of fish and catnip. It's just amazing to me what people will do when they get in front of a camera and when the golden chalice prize of a presidential election is on the table. You get to see the true colors of people, I think. And it's very, very interesting to see. Just watch. I'm not going to call names or anything. I'm just going to ask you to please put on your critical thinking hat. Sit back. Disassociate yourself with your own personal feelings. And just watch what's going on. Who's attacking to who? What's being said? What's going on? And you can see. You can see a lot about people. I'm a dot connector. I like to study. I like to watch people. I like to watch history. I like to watch public events and connect the dots and see who's with who and where things are going. You can predict with a certain degree of general accuracy the future when you see patterns in the past. Remember, Patrick Henry said, "I have but one lamp by which my feet are guided, and that's the lamp of experience. I know no way of judging the future but by the past." Solomon said, "There's nothing new under the sun." And so if we just sit back and watch, then we can, with discernment, see where we're headed in this future. I've already made my general predictions based on the dots that I've connected. And I don't have any qualms about that. I could be wrong. I'm just a dot connector. I could be seeing things moving in the, not accurately. But I want to make this personal prediction for you. You will have a Republican president. I'm not quite sure who it is. But I have a really strong feeling that it will be Jeb Bush, marking some unusual experience that may happen between now and then. But Mitch McConnell has already told us that we're going to have a Republican president. He let that cat out of the bag. I'm sure he didn't mean to. But he was desperate for support for TPP and TPA, and you get somebody that's desperate to make his point and to get people to do what you want them to do. And the tendency is to just simply run your mouth out of desperation, to throw out every point that you can to make sure that somebody sees that you are right. And McConnell needed TPP, TPA to pass. He needed it to. And so I'll remind you, he was remarking to CBS that we have this TPP, TPA, and we have opponents to this within our own party. And I recognize that they have concerns. And I say to them, it is a concern that TPP and TPA will grant this president an enormous amount of unilateral power. But recognize that our president will have this power in the future. Now, TPA and TPP is only supposed to be in effect for 6 years, which means he can't be speaking metaphorically into the future. He knows, and the system is set, that there will be a Republican president. Who will that be? I don't know. It's hard to see that part of the future, especially with the loose cannon of Donald Trump in there. I still haven't figured out his whole purpose in all of this. But you see, I believe that the Republican establishment will do everything within their power to make sure that that next Republican president that we will have is Jeb Bush. You'll notice that Jeb Bush was very quiet in the Fox News reality show. I made a meme. I'm going to be posting on Facebook today. I made a meme. Fox has a new show, a new reality show. Candidates, presidential candidates, or no, I think that's what I said. Politicians got sound bites. That's what I called it. The new Fox News reality show, Politicians Got Sound Bites. That's the only purpose for these debates, is to create sound bites. And you'll notice that Jeb Bush was very quiet because it's not Jeb Bush's turn. They don't want him to talk right now. They want him to be quiet, to be invisible, to not say anything important or divisive or any risky things. The first debates are to eliminate those who should be eliminated. That's why you heard so much from Donald Trump and so much from Rand Paul. Those are the ones to be eliminated. I think that Chris Christie was just there as the court jester, right? But the sad thing is here, that's all we're talking about, right? I mean, I'm scouring through the news, and that's all there is. Still, debates. Nothing but debates. What is going on? Well, let me tell you what's going on. Because I see lots of people arguing about this presidential debates as being useful, as being, if you listen beyond the rhetoric and you look really close, you can see who these people are. No, I'm sorry. You can't. Because the purpose is not to see who these people are. The purpose is ratings. The purpose is money. That's why Megyn Kelly looked like she was on the Ricky Lake show. Jerry Springer. Because it's not about finding out the truth. It's about ratings. And drama gets ratings. Look, Breitbart has this article yesterday. Facebook Fox News partnership for the first GOP debate of 2016 presidential campaign season had the highest audience for any non-sport cable program and was the most watched cable news program in history. Ask CNN. Ask Ted Turner. That's what this is all about. It's about ratings. And that's why the coalescing of TV, cable, and social media was put into play with this debate. It was not about getting to the truth. It was not even about allowing people to see it, because if they would have allowed people to see it, they would have streamed it online. It wasn't about getting the facts out to the people. It was about ratings. Listen to this. The 2-hour main Republican debate drew an audience of 24 million people. The market share was a stunning 16, and the audience included 7.9 million in the 25 to 54-year-old demographic that advertisers crave. It's about advertisement. It's about money. Nearly 1 million tuned in for the post-debate analysis anchored by Megyn Kelly, and another all-time record for Fox News. The undercard debate got 6.1 million viewers, 1.2 million in the 25 to 54 demographic, making it the third highest audience for primary debate in the history of cable news. That's what this is about. It's about advertisers. It's about money. It's about demographics. It's about leveraging. It's about leveraging advertisers so they can spend more money. You're going to watch this now. You see the Super Bowl commercials are an epic event with this kind of numbers. We're going to turn the next presidential debate into an advertiser's epic event. See who watches the debate to see what the advertisers say. That's why they turned Megyn Kelly into Jerry Springer. That's why they turned a presidential debate into a real-life television drama show. It's not so we can know who we can choose to be president. That's not it. It's so Fox, it's so Facebook can gather new advertisers. I'm still waiting for Facebook to become a pay-per-view kind of thing. We have to pay a subscription fee to have a page on Facebook. I suppose that won't happen because the NSA and the feds are using it, as a tool, so they'll keep subsidizing. And Fox will keep joining up with Facebook. Isn't anybody seeing that that's just a crazy, crazy union, Fox and Facebook? I thought Fox was supposed to be the conservative bastion of hope. How does a conservative remain conservative when it yokes up with the likes of Zuckerberg and Facebook? The Facebook who we know attacks conservative pages. Ask anybody who has a conservative page. I have 21,000 on my Facebook page, another 5,000 on my personal page, and I don't have near the algorithmic views that I should based on my followership. Why? Because I'm a conservative page. And now Fox and Facebook are best friends.
KrisAnne Hall Show. She's Liberty's lobbyist.
All I'm doing is asking you to connect the dots. That's it. Connect the dots and see what's really going on in reality. These presidential debates are not about reality. These presidential debates are about ratings. And you're not going to find the truth when the media moguls partner to deliver you the truth. The truth has not been the truth for a very long time. And a sucker is born every day. So, we need to understand where we are and the solutions to our problems are not in a presidential debate. The solutions to our problems are not in the office of the president. The solutions to our problems still lie within the people and the states. Just to see what's going to happen now with this Planned Parenthood thing. I told you this presidential debate is meant to deflect and to distract us from the things that are really important. Its purpose is to steer us away from those things that are politically difficult to do so that we don't have to address them. And so now, because Congress is obviously not going to defund Planned Parenthood, the states are assuming their proper role and are going to take care of it themselves. Breitbart has an article, States Enact Plan B to defund Planned Parenthood. But you see, this is something that has been in the works for a while. There are states already defunding Planned Parenthood. Alabama became the third state to defund Planned Parenthood on August 6th. And so the two other states before them are New Hampshire and Louisiana. There are how many states? Let's see. 12 states have launched investigations. South Carolina, Florida, Tennessee, Massachusetts, Kansas, Missouri, Arizona, Indiana, Ohio, Georgia, Texas, and Louisiana have launched investigations on top of the fact that Louisiana has announced that they will be defunding Planned Parenthood across the state. So, why isn't Congress doing that? Well, because they don't want to take that political step. Apparently, the videos were not enough. Governor Bentley of Alabama says the deplorable practices at Planned Parenthood have been exposed to Americans. I've terminated any association with the organization in Alabama. He says, as a doctor and Alabama's governor, the issue of human life from conception to birth and beyond is extremely important to me. I respect human life, and I do not want Alabama to be associated with an organization that does not. What does that say about Congress? Governor Bentley has said some very astute things, has he not? I respect human life, and I do not want Alabama to be associated with an organization that does not. What does that say about your congressmen? What does that say about the Senate, who could not defund it? What does that say about Congress, who decided to go on vacation instead of launching an investigation and then defunding? Why, I guess maybe our Congress does not respect human life. And it's the states who are required to stand. And that's exactly what they're doing. Now, my state is I'm absolutely disappointed regularly with my state, Florida. Republican House, Republican Senate, Republican governor. Every single one of those Republicans ran on the platform of pro-life, and with a video like this, what are they doing? Launching an investigation. No, Florida should be leading the way, with every single one of the majority running on a pro-life tab. They should be leading the way. They say, okay, fine, we will defund while we do an investigation in the very least. But no. Once again, my Florida Republicans show their true colors. They don't respect life.
So don't let them steal your light. Don't let them break your stride. There is light on the other side. You'll see all the raindrops falling me. So revolution.
The KrisAnne Hall Show. She's Liberty's lobbyist.
Oh no, KrisAnne Hall is once again talking about her plan to defund women's health care. Come on, people. Planned Parenthood is not the only women's clinic out there. There are other women's clinics who are providing health care for women. So why do we put all our eggs in the Planned Parenthood basket? That's a very good question, isn't it? Well, I think we should be fighting a little bit harder for life. I think we should be fighting a little bit harder for the value of life. But you see that the problem is that our country has been turned over to idolatry. Our politicians, our news channels are more concerned about donors, ratings, advertisement, popularity, re-elections, and money. That's the bottom line to all of this, isn't it? Money. We're more worried about money. We can't have a Congress that will do something that is basic human nature. We can have the lady, the first lady, the president's wife on television showing hashtags to stop human trafficking across the globe. And yet we have it going on in our own country and nobody wants to do anything about it. Do we not connect those dots? Do you not understand that dicing up babies and selling them for money is human trafficking? We're outraged by harvesting of organs in other countries and trafficking, the harvesting of organs, the murdering of people to harvest their organs in other countries. And yet it happens here. And it's okay. Why? Because it's not politically correct. We've gotten used to abortion, so we have to just, live with it, right? Well, we're done. We either do this, or we lose the complete value of life in America. This is not about women's health care. And don't get sucked into that ignorant argument. That money-grabbing corporate argument. It's crazy, all these Occupy people against corporate bigwigs. Now defending Planned Parenthood. Who do you think they are? Those are your lobbyists. Those are your corporate champions. They're the ones that are getting all this money from the federal government, and they're the ones that are ruling the federal government. They're your elite. They're your 1%, those people running Planned Parenthood. They're not doing you a service. They're enslaving you. And if you can't see that, then you're too brainwashed to have an opinion in public. I'm sorry. That's the truth. And so it's about time that we start teaching some truth. It's about time that we start teaching the proper role of government. Standing up for liberty. Why don't we turn off all this garbage? And maybe when we get back to some real fundamental truths about some fundamental rights, about the natural rights of people, we can actually get a proper perspective on what is important once again, and we can connect the right dots. There's a lot of Kool-Aid going around. A lot of it. And it's got different flavors. It's time to step away from the Kool-Aid and start being critical thinkers and thinking what's right and what's true. It just simply can't get any more blatant. So I want to switch gears a little bit and talk about some important issues. Some important issues that will keep us from slavery. Do you realize that the brainwashing that we are suffering from is because we have spent decades allowing the government to teach our children what the government feels is best and silencing the parents? And we have Christian parents who have turned their children over to government for training. You know, that violates every principle of your Christian beliefs to turn your children over to government for their schooling. You're supposed to be separate from the world. You're supposed to train your children up in the ways of God, not in the ways of government. And it is absolutely ridiculous that we would believe that government would ever teach anything that respects life, liberty, or property. You see, these are natural rights. These are rights inherent of people. The moment the spark of life enters your body, you have the right to life, liberty, and property. See, that's the problem. Government can't teach you that because government doesn't give you that. Government never wants you to believe that you ever have anything that they have not provided to you. Hello, you didn't build that. And so we spend decades teaching our children that government knows best and government provides us with everything that we need, the building blocks to be the successes that we are. And then we have to teach them that life is not valuable. Why? Because government didn't give you life. Liberty's not real. It's an ideology. Why? Because government doesn't give you liberty. And property can only be properly maintained in a sustainable way by government. Because government can't give you property either. We had life before government ever existed. Liberty is not something that government can give you. Liberty is only something that government can take. We owned property long before we have government. As a matter of fact, we instituted government in the very beginnings to protect our life, our liberty, and our property. And so government schools cannot teach liberty. They cannot teach natural rights. Because the minute you raise up societies of people believing that they have life and liberty and property outside of government, then they start realizing that self-governance is something that we can achieve. Self-governance is something that we are able to do. And the more self-governance we can engage in, the less government we need. But that requires a personal responsibility. Life, liberty, and the maintenance of property on our own requires personal responsibility because it's not about freedom. Freedom is the freedom to lie, steal, murder, and cheat. That's not liberty. Liberty is freedom plus morality. And morality is the only thing that allows you to self-govern. Why do you think public schools, government schools, are so bent on teaching sexuality? Why do you think government schools are so bent on teaching that we're nothing but souped-up monkeys? Why do you think government schools are so bent on teaching that morality is relative? Because it's morality that maintains liberty and less government. They need society to become immoral and personally irresponsible so they can become dependent upon government. And if we're going to change that, we're going to have to take our children out of government schools. I don't think that government schools can be fixed on the inside. I don't think we can fix them from the inside out quick enough to save our children. We need to, Christians, pull your children out of government schools while you're trying to fix it. You pull them out, and they will get the message. Most of the funding is tied to enrollment. You remove their enrollment, and you remove their funding. Then they're going to come after you for additional funding, and you're going to say, hey, I'm schooling my children. I don't understand why I have to pay you to do that. I'm not going to authorize that tax increase. And by the way, I'm going to take the money that you want to take from me, and I'm going to set up a scholarship program, and I'm going to rescue more children from the government school monopoly. The government school monopoly that teaches our children that life is not valuable, that immorality is the goal, and that government knows best. And we've got to get government out of our private schools. We have to teach our private schools that vouchers are the death of their liberty. Vouchers, tax dollars, funding private schools is just the camel's nose in the tent. And when government funds your private schools, then guess what? They're not private anymore. They're subject to public regulation. And when the government gets their hands into your private school, all of a sudden your private schools will have to teach government curriculum. You watch, it's coming. As more and more people revolt against Common Core, they're not just going to attack homeschools. They're going to attack private schools. And any private school that takes public funding will be the first to fall. You want to save this liberty? You want to save America? You better start rescuing your children from the government knows best school systems, the government dictated monopoly education, and start teaching them the truth about liberty.
Don't censor my voice. Hate me if you want, or love me if you can. If the truth is what you want, then you found your man. I ain't backing down, I ain't backing up. If you think like I think, then crack it on up. I won't back up, I don't back down. I've been raised up to stand my ground. Take my job, but not my guns. Tax my check till I ain't got none, except for the good Lord up above. I answer to no one.
The KrisAnne Hall Show. She's Liberty's lobbyist.
Well, I'm proud to say that's why we do what we do here at Liberty First. Teaching the truth and bringing you the truth and trying to instruct on critical thinking and understanding the connecting of the dots. We all have this ability in one extent or another. Problem is that we've been deliberately dumbed down and we no longer have the ability to recognize what's right in front of our face. We can cultivate that, though. We can overturn that. We can undo that conditioning once we unplug and we start learning real truth. Changing the occupant of the White House is not going to fix our problems. We have to change the mentality of the people. We need a revolution of the mind. And that's why we're dedicated to that here at Liberty First, traveling all over the country, teaching the truth. You know that I don't have any speaking fees, and the only way that I'm doing that is because we have support across the country from the Liberty First Brigade, from people just like you who send us money so that this can happen. And I want to announce something very important, very exciting to you. I want you to meet Elizabeth, our first Liberty First intern. You know from our previous broadcast that we've been wanting to expand the Liberty First ministry. One of our goals is to begin an internship program to bring young people into the Liberty First mission to train and equip them to stand for liberty against government infringements. We are seeing this goal become a reality because I'm excited to introduce to you Elizabeth Manley, our first Liberty First intern. Elizabeth will be traveling, working, and studying under my constitutional training for the next 10 days. Our youth is the future of liberty. That cannot be denied. Your continued support will help us meet the costs of this valuable training program, so I want to petition you. Please help us. We have extra costs associated with Elizabeth, and we are going to trust by faith that those costs will be met. If you want to help us out with this program, then please go to my website and click on the donate button. But now I want you to hear from Elizabeth. She's an amazing young lady, and I am so proud to call her our first intern. Here's what Elizabeth says. I was born July 25th, 1998. I am 17. I have 7 siblings, 4 brothers, 3 sisters, and I am the 3rd oldest. Though I was born in Oregon, we moved to Idaho shortly after I turned 1. The trip to Idaho was a God thing. He thoroughly and obviously instructed my parents to move. My parents didn't have much money, but they trusted God and He provided. Our little family of only 5 at the time packed up and moved to Idaho. They'd been praying for a home debt-free, were able to purchase 5 acres, and planned to slowly build a small home. However, our church came together, and in 3 days the framework and shell of the house was standing. It was a direct answer to prayer. Unless the Lord build the house, they labor in vain that build it. I grew up on this little 5-acre farm. I was a homeschooled, free, semi-tomboy, blessed with few cares and a wonderful life. I grew up with my older brother, 2 years older, taking me hunting, playing tag with me, and having general daily adventures. I was baptized and publicly accepted Christ at the age of 10 alongside him. My sibling and I all enjoy each other very much. I love people. They are my passion in life. I love to encourage and edify them. I love speaking and reaching out to people. She has an amazing story. You need to go to my website and read the full account of Elizabeth's story and why she is now Liberty First's first intern. She says, I'm looking forward to this trip with you, Miss Hall, and I don't know what the Lord has in mind, but I'm excited to trust Him. And we are too, Elizabeth. Elizabeth is special, and that's why she's our first intern. Tag along with us over the next 10 days and learn more about Elizabeth. God bless. See you tomorrow.
Something down if you get in our way.